Hi, welcome once again to our YouTube channel. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate you. Right now, we want to look at the NECO 2025 Animal Husbandry Practical. We quickly want to look at the list of specimens that NECO has released for this year's examination, talking about the Animal Husbandry Practical. So quickly, we list out the specimen and then we'll go to talk about each of the specimen one after the other, looking at their characteristics, uses, properties, everything that comes to mind about each of the specimen. So going to the listing of the specimen, we have our specimen A. Specimen A, we have it to be fresh egg. Fresh egg. Our specimen B, we have it to be fresh milk. Our specimen C, we have it to be centrosema. Our specimen D happens to be Bahama grass. Our specimen E, we have our specimen E to be animal bone. Our specimen F, our specimen F is fresh fish. Our specimen G, we have that to be wood shavings. Our specimen H is drinker. Our specimen I is louse. And our specimen J, that is live fowl. So these are the list of specimens that NECO has released for this year's examination. Looking at fresh egg as specimen A, specimen B is the fresh milk, specimen C is centrosema, specimen D is Bahama grass, specimen E is animal bone, specimen F is fresh fish, specimen G is wood shavings, and we have specimen H to be drinker, specimen I is louse, and specimen J is live fowl. So these are the list of specimens. So without wasting our time, we go straight to talking about each of the specimen. So specimen A now. Specimen A, and we said that our specimen A is the fresh egg. Fresh egg, that is our specimen A. So what do we want to say about the fresh egg? Looking at the fresh egg, we could say that eggs are gotten from domestic fowls or birds. Eggs are gotten from domestic fowls or birds. Yes, it is from fowls that we have these eggs gotten, and they could be layers. The birds could be layers or even broilers. The birds could be layers or broilers. Layers, they're saying that they are just birds that are reared for laying eggs, and the broilers are reared for their meat. Either of these two birds could lay eggs, be it domestic fowl or any type of other birds. The ability of these birds to even lay the egg is as a result of the fact that they are oviparous in nature. The birds are oviparous. Hence, their ability to lay eggs. It's because they are viviparous in nature that they have the ability to lay eggs. So we just decided to do this little background on what the eggs are or where they are gotten from. So we're going to look at the egg specifically now. Eggs contain albumin. Eggs contain albumin. Albumin, which is a clear liquid that turns white after heating. A clear liquid that turns white after heating. Yes, this particular part of the egg, when we look at the structure of the egg, when it is not boiled, when it is still in the normal form, when it is still fresh, it has a clear liquid solution. It is in a clear form. That part of the egg is usually clear in view. But at the moment that it gets heated, but the moment you apply heat to it, that particular part that is clear in form automatically turns to white in color. So that is the part that we refer to as the albumin. It also contains water and protein serving as nutrient. This albumin contains water and protein serving as nutrients. Contains water and protein serving as nutrients. The vitamins that we can see in it, nutrients of vitamins like vitamin, we can have vitamin A, D, E, K. All of these vitamins can be found in that albumin. It also contains vitamin 1. You can have vitamin 1, vitamin 2, B1, B2, vitamin B5, vitamin B6. You can have vitamin B9, vitamin B12. All of these are found. You can have niacin, cyanocobalamin, folate, and the pantothenic acid, pyridoxine. All of these are found in the albumin. And another component of the albumin is the yolk. We also have the yolk. The yolk, and this particular one here contains, the yolk contains carbohydrates and generates energy for the embryo. It contains carbohydrates and generates, that is a function of this particular part of the egg, and generates energy for the embryo. So this is the function, the major function of the yolk. This particular part of the egg deepens to yellow color at the center after heating. It deepens to yellow color at the center after it has been introduced to heat. So that is how you identify the yolk in the part of the egg. Now that is another part of the egg. We also have the eggshell. The eggshell, which is responsible for protecting the egg. It has calciferous nature. It has calcareous nature. and it provides or gives mechanical protection to the content of the egg. Providing protection or mechanical support to the content of the egg. Yes, these are some of the things that we need to know about this. The eggshell is very porous, and that is why it permits gaseous exchange with the environment. It is porous, hence permitting gaseous exchange with the environment. Yes, that is another thing that the eggshell does. So we have said that it houses the embryo, it contains the embryo. Now we have so many, we have major colors of these eggs. It could come in form of, the eggshell could come in form of white or brown. Shell could be white or brown in color. Yes, and the incubation period of the egg generally is for about 21 days. Incubation is, we have it to be 21 days. Yes. Now, if you want to check the viability of the egg could be checked using a particular instrument that we refer to as egg candler. Viability of the egg can be checked using an instrument that we refer to as the egg candler. So these are the things I want to know, that we need to know about the fresh egg. So this is a picture, these are pictures. This is what the fresh egg looks like. This is a fresh egg that has brown shell, with the shell intact. So you can see I said that it could have white shell or brown, could be white in color or brown in color. So you can see it. Now looking at the inner content, this is how the inner content of the egg looks. Perhaps you are to look at the inner components of the egg. So we can see what we have there. So this part here is what we refer to as the albumin. This part here, it forms the albumin. This is here is the yolk. So this thing here is called the chalaza. You can see it above the yolk, suspending the yolk in the middle. You can see it underneath here. So here we have the air space. Now outside here we have this part here called the vitelline. We have just around the albumin is where we have the vitelline lining. We have the vitelline lining, you can see it. And this here on the eggshell we have the vitelline membrane. Now here we have the air space. Underneath the air space is where we now have the shell. You can see the outermost part of the egg, which is called the shell. You can see it here. So these are parts of the egg. So that is all that we need to know about the fresh egg. Specimen B is fresh milk. Fresh milk. That is our specimen B. So what do we have to say about the fresh milk? Fresh milk is always gotten from dairy product. Is a dairy product gotten from animals. Is a dairy product gotten from farm animals Animals like cattle, we have cattle, we have goats, sheep, we have pig, etc. All of these are animals that produce milk. The milk is extracted from the udder of mature female animals. It is extracted from the udder of mature female animals. Female animals that are reared specifically for this purpose. That just reared specifically to produce milk. Milk, as we are looking at it, is rich in protein. Milk is extensively rich in protein. It is rich in protein. We have calcium in it, etc. It is processed into cheese. This milk can be processed milk can be processed into cheese. Can have it processed into cheese, yogurt, etc. The milk that has gotten the milk that has not been processed or pasteurized could contain disease-causing pathogens. So it is essential that the milk is processed before it is being consumed, because when the milk is not pasteurized, it could contain disease-causing pathogens. Milk that has not been pasteurized or properly processed could contain disease-causing pathogens. So we should try as much as possible to ensure that the milk that we consume has been pasteurized. So this is what the milk looks like. This is milk in a jar. You can see how white the appearance it is. You can see it. So this is the milk also poured from the jar into the cup. So you can see it. So this is an extractor that is used in extracting milk from the udder of the animal. This is the udder of this animal. This is an animal here. So they have attached the extractor to the udder of the animal. You can see it. So it is with this extractor now that the milk is being extracted, and it is going to store in a can, in a container. So you can see it. So this is the udder of the animal, and that is how the animals are being bled for the milk. You can see that is how it looks. So let me show us you can see how the system works here. You can see it. So they have attached the tip of the extractor to the udder, to the tip or the nipple of the udder, and with that they're able to extract the milk. You can see it going through this hose here. You can see the milk going through this hose here into a container. So that is basically how this particular animal is. Specimen C, and that happens to be the centrosema. Centrosema. So what do we have to say about centrosema? Centrosema is actually a flower, if I may put it that way. It is a plant. So let me just quickly talk about its classification. Looking at the classification of centrosema, the kingdom, it belongs to Plantae. The phylum, it belongs to the Trachyphyta. Trachyphyta. The class is Angiosperma. The order, it belongs to the Fabales. Then the family, it is a Fabaceae. We have the genus to be Centrosema, and the species is pubescens. The species is pubescens. And that is why the botanical name of this animal is written as the Centrosema pubescens. You can see how we have written the scientific name. So we have written it having the first letter of the genus name, Centrosema. This first letter there is C, is written in capital letter, and every other thing that comes after it is written in lower case. You can see even the P of the species name is written in lower case, and then we wrote an underline, or we drew an underline across it, underneath it, without joining the underline of the genus to that of the species. So that is what the Centrosema is. It is commonly called centro, or some people also call it butterfly, butterfly P. Yes, these are names that this particular substance, this particular plant are called. These are names that this particular plant is being called. So looking at it now, I said earlier on that it is propagated by seed. Let me put that here. It is propagated by seed. Yes, it is very, very essential that we know that it is propagated by seed. It is a legume which is cultivated for forage livestock. The Centrosema pubescens is a legume which is cultivated, a legume cultivated as forage for livestock. That is why we particularly rear this particular crop. It is a perennial herb that reaches about 45 centimeters in height. It reaches about 45 centimeters. That's about 17.5 meters in height. That is how tall this particular substance is. The leaves are trifoliate, and they have leaves, they have flowers that are generally pale violet with darker violet veins. The leaves are trifoliate. The leaves are trifoliate with flowers generally pale violet. With flowers that are pale violet, and they have dark violet veins. And dark violet veins. I will show this to us shortly. With darker violet veins. The fruit that is produced by this plant is usually flat, long, dark brown pod containing up to about 20 seeds. Fruits are dark. Fruits are flat, and then they are enclosed in a long dark brown pod. Enclosed in long dark brown pod up to 20 seeds. Yes, in one pod you can have up to 20 seeds. Like I said earlier on, it is used as forage and as source of protein for grazing animal. So plants feed on it. It is used as forage or protein source for farm animals. Yes, this is as a protein source for farm animals. It is usually cultivated as cover crop because it suppresses weeds and it is tolerant to drought. It is cultivated as cover crops because it suppresses weed production. It suppresses weed production, and then it is tolerant to drought and is tolerant to drought. One major disadvantage that this particular plant species has is that it cannot be harvested mechanically because all the plants they ripe at an uneven rate. So it ripens unevenly, which it prevents mechanical harvesting. Major disadvantage. Major disadvantage. Plant, it ripens unevenly, preventing manual harvest, preventing mechanical harvesting. Preventing mechanical harvesting. So that's the major disadvantage of this particular plant. So this is what we are looking about. We can see that is what the Centrosema pubescens looks like. We can see it clearly. You can see the plant, it is green, then it has purple flower, and the purple flower has very dark purple veins. You can see the dark purple veins around this place here. You can see them. So the pale purple is the major flower with the dark purple veins. That is what the Centrosema pubescens looks like. You can see it. So this is the flower when it has not totally blossomed. So that is what it is. So in this pod here, this is the pod of the Centrosema. In this pod here, when it gets ripened, it becomes dark brown in color. And when it appears to be dark brown and you open the pod, you will see the seeds in it, which are about 20 of them. It's in a ripe pod of the Centrosema pubescens. Specimen D now. Specimen D is the Bahama grass. The Bahama grass. So what is our Bahama grass? Let us quickly look at the classification of this particular species. It belongs to the kingdom Plantae. The phylum there is Trachyphyta. The class, it is Angiosperma. The order, it is a Poales. The family, Poaceae. The genus, we have it to be the Cynodon. Cynodon, and then the species is Dactylon. Dactylon. So that means its scientific name is going to be written as the Cynodon Dactylon. That is the scientific name of this particular crop. Other names that this particular species is called, we have it also called Bermuda grass, it's called Bermuda grass, it is called couch grass, it is called the dog's tooth grass, dog's tooth grass. We also call it scotch grass. These are just few amongst the many names that it is called. It is a grass, or a spreading grass, a grass that spreads around. It is a grass that spreads around, and it is commonly found in plain areas. Commonly found in plain areas. This particular grass, its leaves are grayish green in color. Its leaves are grayish green. Its leaves are grayish green in color, and then we oftentimes have it to have its length to be about 15 centimeters. With length of about 2 to 15 centimeter long, and then it has rough edges. With rough edges. These are some description of this particular plant. It is also noticed that its own seeds, they are clustered. Seeds are in cluster. Seeds of the Bahama grass are in cluster of 2 to 6 spikes. Now, each of the spikes has about 2 to 5 centimeters long. With lengths about 2 to 5 centimeters long. Yes, that is how long we have this grass. It possesses deep root system and can grow up to about 2 meters deep into the ground, particularly during drought. Can have root system of 2 meters deep in drought conditions when there is no water. This particular crop has some medicinal properties, or it has some nutritive properties. It has antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. These are reasons why it is then used in so many functions. Number one, uses. Now, major uses. It is used in production of hay. It is used to produce hay in hay production. Also, it can be used as animal feed. Also used as animal feed. So these are reasons why this particular crop is being used. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what the Bahama crop or the Bahama grass looks like. The Bahama or the Bermuda grass. This is what it looks like. You can see. So it's a common grass that we have around. You can see how it looks. You can see. So it can be properly nurtured to be used as carpet grass. You can see it. So that is how it is. It can be properly mown, lawned to be used on a lawn. That is how it looks. So this is the spike that I was making mention of earlier on. You can see these are spikes. You can see this one has 3 spikes. This one has 4 spikes on it. So that is what we are looking at as the Bahama grass. Our specimen E. Specimen E. And that is animal bone. Animal bone. That is our specimen E. So what do we have to say about animal bone? We will not be specific about the type of bone that we're actually looking at. We just talk generally about bones. So what are bones? Bones are rigid organs that make up part of the skeletal system. Bones are rigid organs that make up parts of the skeletal system of vertebrates. Skeletal system of vertebrates. Yes, it is on the vertebrates of the vertebral animals that we can actually see them. You can also call them chordates. Animals that have backbone, they are referred to as chordates. These bones serve functions like protection of internal organs of the body. Bones come in numerous sizes and shapes. They are found in numerous sizes and shapes, and they are made or formed by some bone cells called the osteocytes and the osteoblasts. Osteocytes and osteoblasts are involved in bone formation. So the formation of this bone is made as a result of the action of this particular bone cells, bone forming cells. They produce red. Okay. Bones are very, very rich in calcium, so they store calcium. Bones store calcium and help to regulate the acid-base balance of the body. Major functions of bones now. Major functions of bone. Number one is that the bone is responsible for what we refer to as rigidity of the body. Bone serve functions like protection to internal organs of the body. Number one. protection to internal organs of the body, e.g. we have the brain, we have the liver, the lungs, the kidney, etc. All of these are internal organs that are very, very soft, so they are enclosed in the brain, so they are enclosed in the skeletal system guarding them. They produce red and white blood cells. Production of red blood cells and white blood cells. The bones are responsible for the production of this. Also, they store some vital minerals. Store some vital minerals essential to the body, vital minerals, and provide structure and support. They also provide structure and support to the overall body parts, to the overall body. They are also responsible for enabling mobility. Also responsible for mobility of the body. It is with the aid of the bones that animals are able to move about from place to place. So these are some of the functions of bones. You can see that it is the osteocytes and the osteoblasts that are involved in formation of bone, and we said that they come in different sizes. If I were to look at humans, for example, the bones in humans are over 200, and they are over 200, about 206 in an average sized grown man, even if they are more than that at birth, but some of them have been joined together to form the 206 that we have at growth. Now, the biggest bone or the longest bone of the body, the largest bone of the body of a mammal is the femur. So we have that in the body of a human. The femur is the longest bone that we have there. So that is about that. These are pictures that can help us buttress our points. These are bones. You can see them. These are bones. So these are different bones. You can see some bones. All these ones here, they are bones of the jaw. You can see them having some tooth-like materials on them. These are bones of the jaw. These are some other bones that have been assembled together. You can see them. So that is how these bones look. You can see them. You can see them now. So these are all bones. So these are what bones are looking like. So we'll move to specimen F. Specimen F, which is fresh fish. Fresh fish. Now, talking about fishes, we'll be looking at aquatic animals. Fishes are generally aquatic animals. They are generally aquatic animals, and we have them of different types. Animals which are of different types depending on the type of water they are found, the type of water where they are found. So we have the freshwater fish, where we can have the catfish, for example. In salt water we can have tilapia. Even in brackish water. So there are so many examples of fishes. We have tilapia, titus, mackerel, catfish. So many examples that we can actually look at. So freshwater fishes, they inhabit shallow streams and ponds, lakes and rivers, and they are less found in brackish waters. This type of fishes that are found in freshwater, they are less found in brackish waters because of the concentration of salt in the brackish water. They are more suitably found in warm waters during cold water, and this is due to the inability of them to survive in cold waters. Majority of these fishes can live, let me put it this way, fishes that live in fresh water, like the catfish that we made mention of earlier on, oftentimes cannot survive in salt water or brackish water. Because of its salinity. That's the salt content of that water. So we discover that most times these fishes are found in the environment, and they continue to live in the environment where they actually are found. They can live up to 10 years and can weigh as much as 10 pounds. Talking about tilapia, for example, tilapia can weigh up to 10 pounds in weight, and they can live up to about 10 years. Tilapia can live up to about 10 years. And up to 10 pounds in weight. Yes, and looking at the tilapia, they are domestically reared for consumption and then for sales. So also is the catfish. Catfishes are also reared for sales. Now, this particular type of fish, particularly the freshwater fish and the saltwater fish as well, they are specifically, like I said earlier on, they are reared for fish and they are a healthy source of proteins. We have them, okay, looking at the characteristics of fishes now. They possess streamlined bodies. Major fishes, particularly those that are found in the salt waters, they have scales on them. Possess scales. And then streamlined bodies, which actually aid their movement in water. They also have fins. They have fins like the dorsal, the ventral, the dorsal, the ventral, the lateral fins. All of these ventral, lateral fin, pectoral fins, all of these are fins, and they make use of gill system for respiration. They use the gill system for respiration. They make use of the gill system for respiration. They have high resistance, particularly the fishes that have scales. They have high resistance to diseases. Fishes with scale have high resistance to diseases. They have fast growth, and they they are commercially reared. They have fast growth and they are commercially reared. Their diet, they feed on readily abundant algae and planktons in the waters. Those are the things that they feed on majorly, particularly those ones that are in the wild. They feed generally on that. Now, these fishes, oftentimes they are omnivores, and also they can also be cannibalistic in nature. They are omnivores, meaning that they can actually feed on plants and even animals. Fishes are omnivores. Plant and flesh eaters. Also cannibalistic. So perhaps you are rearing them, you try as much as possible not to starve them in order for them not to start feeding on one another. Now, if we look at the fishes that they lay, at the eggs that they lay, they can lay up to they can lay so many numerous eggs. They lay their eggs which are in large volumes, and these eggs have numerous cells with which they are numbered. They can lay up to 2.4 to 3. Their egg size can be about 2.4 to 3 millimeter in size, and these eggs are usually transparent when laid, but they turn pale yellow to orange in about some time after they have been laid. That is how the eggs look like. And then the temperature for hatching, let me just put that here. Temperature for hatching laid eggs is about 21 to 29 degrees Celsius, and they hatch their eggs between 5 to 10 days oftentimes. So these are some things that we need to know about fresh fishes. So these are pictures of what the fresh fish looks like. You can see them. So I was talking about their fins earlier on. You can see them. They have streamlined bodies which make it possible for them to actually swim easily in waters. And so they have the tail fins, the lateral fins, and the rest of those. So that is how the fishes look. You can see them here. These are examples of tilapia fish. You can see them. So that is how the fishes look. And then we move to the next specimen, which is specimen G. Specimen G, and that is wood shaving. Wood shaving. So what do you have to say about the specimen G, the wood shaving? Basically, this particular specimen, they are used in the case of talking about base layer or layering for animal sheds or animal cages. Let me put it that way. Wood shavings are a base layer with thick covering of straw. They are waste obtained when wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tools. They are wastes obtained when wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tools. When wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tools. They are wastes obtained when wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tools. They are wastes obtained when wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tools. When wood is shaped or planed or planed using carpentry tools. They are wastes obtained when wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tools. When wood is shaped or planed using carpentry tool. Yes, they are also seen as thin small pieces of shreds. They are also seen as small. They are also seen as thin small pieces, of shreds. Small pieces of shreds of wood. Small piece of shred of wood created from wood planing or milling. Created from wood planing or milling. So every time wood is being cut or shaped, there is a production of what we refer to as wood shavings. They are commonly used in many ways. Uses now. There are so many ways through which this particular substance is being employed. One of them is used as animal beddings. One, used as animal beddings. Yes, in some bird cages or other animal cages, we see wood shavings being laid on the floor to actually make the cages cleaner. With the use of the shape, with the intervention of the wood shavings, you can actually clean the cages with ease. So they are used as animal beddings. Also, they are used for mulching. For mulching, that is a layer of material that is applied to the surface of soil for moisturization. A layer of material applied to the surface of the soil. Applied to the surface of the soil for moisturization. For moisturization. Also for conservation of soil, okay, that's conservation of soil nutrients. Conservation of its water. Conservation of its water, and then improving fertility. And improving soil fertility. Yes, these are reasons why they make use of wood shaving. Also, we can actually employ it as packaging material due to their desirable properties. Also used as packaging material. Packaging material due to their desirable properties. So these are some of the reasons, or these are some of the major uses of what the wood shaving looks like. So this is what the wood shaving is. You can see this is what wood shaving is. So when wood is being planed, that is how we actually get this particular specimen. So shaping or planing of wood, cutting of wood can actually produce this. You can see them. That is what wood shaving looks like. You can see. So whenever we find ourselves in a carpentry shop, we can actually see this in their workshop. So the next specimen we have before us is specimen H. Specimen H, and that happens to be the drinker. The drinker. What do we have to say about the drinker? The drinker is actually an instrument that is used in application of water to animals. This is a man-made or artificial receptacle container that is made to provide water to animals, particularly in this case, the poultry beds. We oftentimes find this particular instrument used in poultry, particularly to poultry beds. They could be made of steel, plastic. They are usually made of steel, plastics, etc. These are things that could be used in the production of what we refer to as drinker. They are majorly made to provide water to the birds when the birds are in the poultry, particularly if they are in cages. So that is why we make use of drinkers. Okay. Examples: we have the standard drinker, we have the galvanized drinker, we have the nipple drinker, we have the bell drinker, etc. They are numerous. At least these are the ones that I will be showing us. So this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm talking about. You can see now, this is a nipple drinker here, and this is how the nipple drinker is being used. Now this tip here is being pressed by the bird, and when the nipple is being pressed, that's what we refer to as the nipple. When it is being pressed, there is going to be suction of water. Water moves into this place here, and then it pours here for the bird to actually drink it. So that is what the nipple drinker looks like. This is galvanized drinker, where water has been put inside this container, and then gradually it drops into this tray that we have underneath it. And similar pattern or similar reaction is what occurs in this standard drinker. Water is put in this part here, which is the white container, and gradually the water dispenses into this red tray that we have beneath it here, and that is where the bird starts to drink from. Similarly, we have the bird drinker also, and the similar component is constructed here, and it makes use of similar pattern of operation. So that mode of operation in this one, in these three here, the galvanized drinker, the standard, and the bird drinker, they are similar. So those are the things that the drinkers look like. You can see them here. This is another example of the drinker. So water in this yellow container here, for example, this part here is where we put the water, and gradually the water dispenses into this lower tray, this lower compartment for the bird to drink from. Now, when the water fills this tray here, automatically there will be limited pressure for water to drop in again from this container into this tray here. So it works on pressure. So when the water here is filled in the tray, there will be zero pressure for the water to drop again into the tray, and that is why it doesn't make the environment messy. Similarly, we have the same mode of operation in this one as well. So that is what the drinkers look like. You can see this is another example of the drinker. So those are the things that we refer to as drinker. Specimen, and that happens to be Laos. Specimen J, Laos. So what do we have to say about our specimen J? Looking at this, we say, let's classify first. It belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Phylum Arthropoda. Class Insecta. Order Socodidae. Family, it is the Pediculidae. Family, Pediculidae. Genus, we refer to it as the Pediculus. And then the species, we have different examples. Species, we have, let me just list a few examples. We have the one that is referred to, we have different types of louse. If I were to look at the examples, okay, I will just make mention of them here. The one that is found on the body, we call it body louse. That one is called the Humanus humanus. If it is the one that is found particularly on the head, that one is called, we call that one the Humanus capitis. Humanus capitis. And if it is the one that is found in the genitals, the one that causes crabs, that one is called the Petrus pubis. So these are different examples of the louse. Now let's talk about them extensively now. The plural form of this particular thing is lice. Plural, lice. Now they are very, very deadly animals. They are obligate ectoparasites of humans. These ones that I made mention of, we have other ones that affect other animals, but these ones I made mention of, they are deadly. Okay, they are obligate ectoparasites of humans. They are wingless. They are wingless insects. They do not have wings, and they spend their lives on the body of an animal. And spend their lives on their host. So whatever organism they get attached to, they continue to live and dwell on that host. They lay so many eggs on the hairs and clothing. They lay numerous eggs on the hair and clothing of their hosts. Since they are wingless, they cannot fly, and so they move or spread by direct contact with another person. They are wingless. And cannot fly, so they move or spread by contact. They move or spread by direct contact with another person. That is how this particular organism they move and spread themselves about. Or you can find them on bed sheets that are infected. Yes, these are ways through which you can actually see these organisms. They are disease vectors. Lice are disease vectors that cause epidemic. They cause epidemic, typhoid, fever, and so many other diseases. They can be treated with proper sanitation. They can be treated with proper sanitation. They can be treated with proper sanitation. The relationship it has with other organisms also is parasitic in nature. Parasitic relationship. So this is the thing, or these are the things that we want to look at as we talk about the louse or lice in the plural form. So this is what the diagram of louse look like. You can see them. You can see. So I said earlier on that we have the head louse. This is how it looks. You can see this is the head louse here. We have the body louse and then the crab louse. You can see them and their names. The head louse, the body louse, and the crab louse. This one is found in the genitals, in this the private regions of the body. This one here is found on the head, and this one is found in the body, and they all do the same thing, sucking the blood of their host. So that is what they do. You can see this is their life cycle here. This is how their life cycle is, from the egg to the larva, the second stage of the larva, and then it comes back to the adult stage. And you can see this is a labeled diagram of that particular animal. You can see all of this part here divided by this line in the middle here. All these parts here, they are the dorsal view of that animal, that is looking at the animal from top, while this place is the ventral, while we look at it from beneath, from underneath. So these are the things that we need to see about that particular specimen. Specimen J is live fowl. Live fowl. That is our specimen J. Now, fowl is a general name that is used for representing domestic poultry birds or birds generally. Fowl is a generalized name. It's a general name that birds are called. We have different examples of these fowls. Examples of fowls. Examples include, we have so many examples like pelican, duck, goose, pigeons, guinea fowl, turkey, peacock, even the normal domestic fowl. So all of these could be called fowls. So we'll seclude our discussion for this particular specimen to the normal domestic fowl. So if I want to put out the classification of the domestic fowl, this is how it will look. It is belonging to the kingdom Animalia. This is for domestic fowl. The phylum, it is Chordata. We have the class now to be aves. The order, we have it to be the Galliformes. We have the family to be the Phasianidae. Phasianidae. The genus, we call it Gallus. And the species, it is Gallus domestica. Gallus domestica. So if this particular animal is to be written talking about the domestic fowl, the scientific name will be written as domestica. That is how it will be written. Gallus Gallus domestica. You see it being underlined like this. Gallus Gallus domestica. That is the scientific name. Now, this particular animal, we will be looking at so many things about it. First and foremost, they are birds. Fowls are birds. I've said that earlier on. Fowls are birds with wings. Wings and feathers for flight. But not all of them fly, because we have the like of the ostrich that doesn't fly, but it is also a type of bird or a fowl. The ostriches don't fly. Even the domestic fowl has a limit to its flight. So, but they all have wings and they all have feathers on them. We have different types of feathers, down feathers, the phyloplume, the contour feathers, and the rest of those. Now, all of these birds have all of these feathers. They also possess so many things, like talking about their beaks. They have different beak system, which is adapted to the type of food they eat on. Adapted to the type of food that they eat. Also, they have different types of legs. Specifically, looking at some of them that live in water, ducks, goose, and the rest of those. Ducks, goose, pelican are aquatic in nature, so they all have web feet. This is to aid their movement in water, so their feet has web pattern, which makes it possible for them to paddle in water, since they most times find themselves in waters. And other types of birds have normal digits on their legs, and with their digits they are able to scratch the soil, depending on the type of food they feed on, scratch the soil, or even to scatter grains when they are ready to feed. Now, birds generally, they make use of gill, they have lungs for, birds have lungs for respiration. They make use of the lung for respiration. They have gizzard in them. Gizzard is used, it is particularly a grinding machine is used to mill grains fed on. So the ones that feed, the majority of the animals that feed on grains, they make use of the gizzard to actually mill the food that they eat, so that they can actually continue their way of life. So the gizzard there is a grinding machine, if I may put it that way, that helps them to grind whatever they feed on. Also, they have liver that is used to actually oftentimes the liver attached to the gallbladder helps in the synthesis of metabolism of fat. Liver and gallbladder helps in the metabolism of fat. These are some of the things that we'll be looking at talking about the domestic fowl. Now, this particular animal is reared for, talking about the domestic fowl now, it is reared for so many reasons. We have different types of them. Types now. We have the broilers, those that are reared for the meat, and then some of them are also layers, the ones that are reared for eggs, for production of eggs, and this one here is for meat. So we have these as types of these animals. Now, the type of food they feed on, particularly the domestic animals, the ones that have been domesticated and that are in cages, they have feeds like layers, grower, finisher. We have so many types of feed that they feed on. So they can actually be reared in cages, different types of cages. We have battery cages and the rest of those. They can be placed in an open cage as well, and then you make use of the drinker that we have made mention of earlier on as a mechanism of introducing water to them. They also have their food containers where you can actually put their food into to actually make the work easier. So these are the things I want to look at talking about the domestic fowl. So here are pictures of fowls, different fowls. We see here we have goose, we have the domestic fowl, we have the ducks, we have the guinea fowl, we have the turkey. All of these are types of fowls, but we are secluding, okay, this is guinea fowl. So I discussed about this particular one. This is the one I refer to as the Gallus domestica. That is the domestic fowl. So those are types of birds that we are looked at. So that is as far as you can come with this lesson. I will plead with us to go through all that has been discussed, go through them, understand everything, and look at the things that has been discussed. Try to memorize them so you'll be able to make use of them when you get into the examination hall. Thank you very much for coming along with us. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification button so you get easily notified of subsequent uploads when we put them up on our channel. There are so many interesting topics that you can actually benefit from on the channel, so do not hesitate to do that. Also, looking at introducing these videos to your friends. Try as much as possible to share them with your friends, like them, share them with your friends. Let them also benefit from what you are getting. Thank you very much. I wish you success in your examination.